Welcome to our exploration of behavioral economics, a fascinating field that merges economics and psychology. Unlike traditional economics, which assumes people always act rationally, behavioral economics recognizes that real-world decisions are often influenced by emotions, biases, and social factors. This discipline helps us understand why we sometimes make choices that don't align with pure logic, such as overspending or procrastinating. By examining these patterns, behavioral economics offers valuable insights into human behavior, making it easier to predict and influence decision-making in everyday life. Let's dive into the basics and see how this field reshapes our understanding of economics. Traditional economics operates on the assumption that individuals are rational actors who always seek to maximize their utility. This means people are expected to weigh all options, consider every outcome, and make choices that are logically optimal. However, in reality, human behavior often deviates from these assumptions. Factors like limited information, cognitive overload, and emotional influences can lead to decisions that are less than perfect. Behavioral economics challenges this rationality model, highlighting the gaps between theory and practice. Understanding these differences is crucial for appreciating why behavioral economics is so important. Behavioral economics brings psychology into the realm of economic decision-making. It examines how cognitive biases, emotions, and social influences shape our choices. For example, people may be swayed by peer pressure or make impulsive purchases based on mood. By integrating psychological principles, behavioral economics provides a more realistic view of how decisions are made. This approach helps explain phenomena like why people save less than they should, or why they fall for marketing tricks. The fusion of these disciplines creates a richer understanding of human behavior in economic contexts. Cognitive biases are systematic patterns of deviation from rational judgment. These biases can lead us to make decisions that aren't always logical or optimal. Examples include confirmation bias, where we seek information that supports our beliefs, and anchoring, where we rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive. Behavioral economics studies these biases to understand their impact on economic choices. By recognizing and addressing cognitive biases, we can improve decision-making and avoid common pitfalls that affect our financial and personal lives. Emotions play a significant role in how we make decisions. While traditional economics often ignores feelings, behavioral economics acknowledges their influence. For instance, fear can lead to risk aversion, while excitement might encourage impulsive spending. Emotional responses can override logical thinking, resulting in choices that don't always serve our best interests. Understanding the emotional component of decision-making helps us recognize why people sometimes act against their own financial goals. Behavioral economics uses this knowledge to design better policies and interventions. Decisions are often shaped by the people around us. Social influences such as peer pressure, cultural norms, and group behavior can lead us to make choices that differ from what we might do alone. Behavioral economics examines how these social factors impact economic decisions, from spending habits to investment choices. By understanding the power of social influence, we can better predict trends and design interventions that encourage positive behavior. This insight is especially valuable in marketing and public policy. Heuristics are mental shortcuts that help us make decisions quickly and efficiently. While they can be useful, heuristics sometimes lead to errors in judgment. For example, the availability heuristic causes us to overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily recalled, while the representativeness heuristic makes us judge probabilities based on stereotypes. Behavioral economics studies these shortcuts to understand their effects on economic behavior. By identifying common heuristics, we can learn to make more informed choices and avoid costly mistakes. Loss aversion is a powerful concept in behavioral economics. It refers to the tendency for people to prefer avoiding losses over acquiring gains. This means that the pain of losing is often stronger than the pleasure of winning. Loss aversion can lead to conservative choices, such as holding on to investments too long or avoiding risk altogether. Understanding this bias helps explain why people sometimes make irrational financial decisions. Behavioral economics uses loss aversion to design better incentives and policies. Endowment effect describes how people value things more highly simply because they own them. This bias can lead to overpricing possessions or reluctance to sell assets. Behavioral economics studies the endowment effect to understand its impact on markets and personal finance. Recognizing this tendency can help us make more objective decisions about buying, selling, and investing. The endowment effect is just one example of how ownership influences our perceptions and choices. Aiming effects occur when the way information is presented influences our decisions. For example, people may react differently to a product described as 90% fat-free versus 10% fat. Behavioral economics explores how framing shapes perceptions and choices. By understanding framing effects, we can improve communication and make better decisions. This concept is widely used in marketing, politics, and public policy to guide behavior and shape opinion. Time inconsistency refers to the tendency to make decisions that favor immediate rewards over long-term benefits. This explains why people procrastinate, overspend, or fail to save for retirement. Behavioral economics studies time inconsistency to understand how short-term thinking affects financial and personal choices. By recognizing this bias, we can develop strategies to encourage better planning and self-control. Time inconsistency is a key factor in designing policies that promote healthier and more sustainable behaviors. Nudges are subtle interventions that guide people toward better decisions without restricting their freedom of choice. Choice architecture refers to the way options are presented to influence behavior. Behavioral economics uses nudges to promote positive actions, such as saving money or eating healthier. By designing environments that make good choices easier, policymakers and businesses can help people overcome biases and achieve their goals. Nudges are a practical application of behavioral economics in everyday life. Default options are preset choices that people tend to stick with, even when alternatives are available. Behavioral economics shows that defaults can significantly influence behavior, such as enrolling in retirement plans or organ donation programs. By setting beneficial defaults, policymakers can encourage positive outcomes without forcing decisions. Understanding the power of defaults helps us design systems that promote well-being and efficiency. Social proof is the tendency to follow the actions of others, especially in uncertain situations. Behavioral economics uses social proof to explain phenomena like herd behavior in markets or viral trends online. By leveraging social proof, businesses and policymakers can encourage desired behaviors, such as recycling or adopting new technologies. Understanding this concept helps us recognize the influence of group dynamics on individual choices. Anchoring bias occurs when people rely too heavily on the first piece of information they receive, even if it's irrelevant. This can affect negotiations, pricing, and decision-making. Behavioral economics studies anchoring to understand how initial values shape subsequent choices. By being aware of anchoring bias, we can make more objective decisions and avoid being swayed by arbitrary numbers. Sunk cost fallacy is the tendency to continue investing in a project or decision because of past investments, even when it's no longer rational. Behavioral economics highlight this bias as a common mistake in business and personal finance. Recognizing the sunk cost fallacy helps us make better decisions by focusing on future benefits rather than past losses. This concept is crucial for avoiding wasteful spending and improving resource allocation. Overconfidence bias is the tendency to overestimate our abilities or knowledge. This can lead to risky decisions, such as excessive trading or poor planning. Behavioral economics studies overconfidence to understand its impact on markets and individual choices. By recognizing this bias, we can adopt a more realistic perspective and make better decisions. Overconfidence is a common pitfall that affects both professionals and everyday consumers. Present bias is the tendency to prioritize immediate rewards over future benefits. This explains why people often choose short-term pleasures, like eating junk food or spending impulsively, instead of long-term gains. Behavioral economics examines present bias to design interventions that encourage better planning and self-control. By understanding this bias, we can develop strategies to promote healthier and more sustainable behavior. Hyperbolic discounting is a concept where people disproportionately value immediate rewards over future ones. This leads to procrastination, poor savings habits, and impulsive decisions. Behavioral economics uses hyperbolic discounting to explain why people struggle with long-term planning. By recognizing this tendency, we can design policies and tools that help individuals make better choices for their future. Mental accounting refers to the way people categorize and treat money differently depending on its source or intended use. For example, someone might splurge with a tax refund but be frugal with their salary. Behavioral economics studies mental accounting to understand how these mental compartments affect spending and saving. By recognizing mental accounting, we can make more consistent and rational financial decisions. Prospect theory is a foundational concept in behavioral economics. It describes how people evaluate potential gains and losses, often valuing losses more heavily than equivalent gains. This theory explains why individuals may take risks to avoid losses but act conservatively when facing gains. Prospect theory provides a more accurate model of decision-making under uncertainty, challenging traditional economic assumptions. Behavioral finance applies the principles of behavioral economics to financial markets. It examines how biases, emotions, and social influences affect investment decisions. For example, investors may follow trends blindly or panic during market downturns. Behavioral finance helps explain anomalies in market behavior and guide strategies for better investment outcomes. By understanding these factors, we can make more informed financial decisions. Behavioral economics has significant applications in marketing. Businesses use insights from this field to design advertisements, pricing strategies, and product placements that influence consumer behavior. By understanding how people make decisions, marketers can create campaigns that appeal to emotions and biases. This approach leads to more effective marketing and higher sales. Behavioral economics is a powerful tool for shaping consumer choices. Behavioral economics is used to design policies that promote public health and well-being. Governments and organizations apply nudges in choice architecture to encourage healthy behaviors, such as exercising, eating nutritious foods, or quitting smoking. By understanding how people make decisions, policymakers can create environments that support positive actions. Behavioral economics is essential for addressing complex social issues and improving quality of life. Behavioral economics is increasingly applied in education to improve learning outcomes. By understanding how students make decisions, educators can design interventions that encourage better study habits, attendance, and engagement. Nudges, incentives, and feedback are used to motivate students and support academic success. Behavioral economics provides valuable tools for creating effective educational environment. Technology companies use behavioral economics to design user interfaces and experiences that guide behavior. For example, apps may use notifications, rewards, or default settings to encourage engagement and retention. By applying behavioral insights, tech firms can create products that are more user-friendly and effective. Behavioral economics is a key driver of innovation in the digital age. While behavioral economics offers valuable insights, it also faces criticism. Some argue that it oversimplifies complex behaviors or relies too heavily on laboratory experiments. Others question its ability to predict outcomes in diverse real-world settings. Despite these critiques, behavioral economics continues to evolve, integrating new research and refining its models. Understanding its limitations is important for applying its principles effectively. Behavioral economics is a dynamic field with exciting future prospects. Researchers are exploring new ways to integrate technology, neuroscience, and data analytics to deepen our understanding of decision-making. As the field grows, it will continue to influence policy, business, and everyday life. The future of behavioral economics promises innovative solutions to complex challenges and a richer understanding of human behavior. Summary: behavioral economics combines economics and psychology to provide a more realistic view of decision making. It challenges traditional assumptions of rationality and highlights the influence of biases, emotions, and social factors. By understanding these principles, we can make better choices, design effective policies, and improve outcomes in various fields. Behavioral economics is an essential tool for navigating the complexities of human behavior. Thank you for joining this journey into behavioral economics. We've seen how this field bridges the gap between economics and psychology, offering powerful insights into why we make the choices we do. Whether in finance, marketing, policy, or everyday life, behavioral economics helps us understand and improve decision making. As research continues, its impact will only grow, shaping a smarter and more compassionate world. Stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of behavioral economics.